It has been said that the American mafia is the amalgamate of two types of men, racketeers and gangsters, those who epitomize intellectual intimidation and those who favor more personal and direct solutions. It is the latter of these men who are the focus of today's video. With roots dating back to 1869, a lot has been said on the mob in America. Men have come and men have gone, stories forgotten and bodies lost. For a made man, there seems to be but two fates, death or prison, and those who live to tell their stories do so burdened by the perpetual fear of revealing too much. It should be noted that most mob hits go unsolved, and their details never told. Stories of men with concrete shoes and bodies torn to pieces in meat strainers, although probable, are mostly myth. It is for this reason that today we discuss not the alleged, but the real. Now join us for some of the most infamous mob hits in American history. Valentine's Day Massacre. It was a tepid Chicago morning, the 14th February 1929, when at 10:30 a.m., 5 Irish mobsters of the North Side Gang and 2 other associates were gunned down by 4 unidentified men. The shooters, 2 dressed neatly in suits and ties, and the others posing as police officers, utilized Tommy guns and shotguns to undertake the massacre. The job was an attempt to eliminate Bugs Moran, head of the North Side Gang, with the motivation for the plan possibly being that some expensive whiskey illegally imported from Canada via the Detroit River had been hijacked while it was being transported to Cook County, Illinois. Moran's men were in a garage fixing cars when the 4 hitmen approached. The 2 fake police officers carried shotguns and entered the rear portion of the garage, where they found members of Moran's gang and collaborators, Reinhard Schwimmer and John May, who were fixing one of the trucks. The fake policemen then ordered the men to line up against the wall, before signaling to the pair in civilian clothes who had accompanied them. 2 of the killers opened fire with Thompson submachine guns, one with a 20-round box magazine and the other a 50-round drum. They were thorough, spraying their victims left and right, even continuing to fire after all 7 had hit the floor. The hit is believed to have taken place upon the orders of Al Capone, who was in Florida at the time. The only survivors were May's dog, Highball, and Frank Gussenberg, who despite 14 bullet wounds was still conscious, but he died 3 hours later, refusing to utter a word about the identities of the killers. The Albert Anastasia hit. Anastasia was the co-founder and eventual boss of Murder, Inc., an organization responsible for hundreds of murders throughout New York. He earned the reputation of being one of the most feared and brutal crimes bosses in American history, being given the nicknames the Mad Hatter and Lord High Executioner. On the morning of October 25, 1957, Anastasia entered the barbershop of the Park Sheraton Hotel at 56th Street and 7th Avenue in Midtown Manhattan. As Anastasia relaxed in the barber's chair, 2 men, scarves covering their faces, rushed in, shoved the barber out of the way, and fired at Anastasia. After the first volley of bullets, Anastasia reportedly lunged at his killers. However, the stunned Anastasia had attacked the gunman's reflections in the wall mirror of the barbershop. The gunman continued firing until Anastasia finally fell dead on the floor. Speculation on who killed Anastasia has centered on Profaci crime family mobster Joe Gallo. Initially, the NYPD concluded that Anastasia's homicide had been arranged by Genovese and Gambino, and that it was carried out by a crew led by Gallo, but no one was ever charged with the murder. At one point, Gallo was reported to have boasted to an associate of his part in the hit, and gave us the infamous line, "You could just call the 5 of us the Barbershop Quintet." The Bugsy Siegel assassination. Bugsy Siegel was a Jewish mobster born into a family of 5 children in Brooklyn, New York. He was one of the founding members of Murder, Inc., and along with childhood friend Meyer Lansky, held significant influence in both the Jewish mob and the American mafia. In Hollywood, Siegel was welcomed in the highest circles and befriended movie stars. He also had a reputation as a ladies' man, and had several relationships with prominent women, including socialite Countess Dorothy DeFrasso. The alliance with the Countess took Siegel to Italy in 1938, where he met Benito Mussolini, to whom Siegel tried to sell weapons. Siegel also met Nazi leaders Hermann Göring and Joseph Goebbels, to whom he took an instant dislike and later offered to kill. He only relented because of the Countess's anxious pleas. On December 26, 1946, Siegel opened the Flamingo Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip, having overtaken construction when the previous developer, William R. Wilkerson, ran into financial difficulty. Less than 1 year later, on the 20th of June 1947, Siegel was shot dead by a sniper through the window of his Beverly Hills home. Officially, the murder remains unsolved and the motivation behind the hit undetermined. One theory suggests that Siegel's death was due to his excessive spending and possible theft of money from the mob. In 1946, a meeting was held with the so-called board of directors of the syndicate in Havana, Cuba, so that Luciano, exiled in Sicily, could attend. A contract on Siegel's life was the conclusion. The day after Siegel's murder, David Berman and his Las Vegas mob associates, Sedway and Gus Greenbaum, walked into the Flamingo and took over operation of the hotel and casino.